inside your head, he said to me, the answer is easy if you take it logically. I'd like to help you in your struggle to be free. There's only 7 steps to stop your taxes. He said, it's really not my habit to intrude. Furthermore, I hope my meaning won't be lost or misconstrued. But I'll repeat myself at the risk of being rude. There's only 7 steps to stop your taxes. 7 steps to stop your taxes. You just study the law, Mom. Do not confess, best. There's no need to fear, dear. Just get yourself free. Listen to me, Lee. You don't need to discuss much. To Congress you write, fight, and get yourself free. Read the guarantee deed. Join the freedom plan, stand. Then spread the word, gird. Just listen to me. Study the law, Pa. Don't you confess, best. There's no need to fear, dear. Just get yourself free. He said, it grieves me so to see you in such pain. I wish there was something I could do to make you smile again. I said, I appreciate that. So would you please explain about the 7 steps? He said, why don't you read up on it tonight? And I believe that by the morning you'll begin to see the light. Then he hung up and I realized he was probably right. There's only 7 steps to stop your taxes. 7 steps to stop your taxes. Study the law, Mom. Do not confess.
Welcome to another edition of Freedom Hour, my friends. Here tonight, I'm going to talk to you about rampant federal government waste, fraud, corruption, and theft. And let's not forget all the wars and murder of innocent people happening with your tax dollars. What can you do about it? But voting is not working. Whether you get Democrats or Republicans in power, guess what? Neither one of them works for you, the American people. They work for who? The special moneyed rich people of all sorts and groups that they buy the politicians by paying for their advertising election and re-election campaigns of these politicians. That's who's really in charge, not we the American people. Our vote practically does not count. Does not change much, does it? Well, I have a solution for you on that. Yes, I do. Hang in there. But let's talk about the problem a little bit more. Here it just came out recently in the news, folks, okay, that in Minnesota they're bringing some fraud charges. And the magnitude of these fraud charges cannot be overstated. Yes, this was announced by Joseph H. Thompson, okay? And so here's what it says, this guy, about what's going on in Minnesota fraud. We're going to give you a little glimpse of what this U.S. attorney have to say, and we give you some more videos on this issue. The magnitude cannot be overstated. What we see in Minnesota is not a handful of bad actors committing crimes. It is staggering. Industrial scale fraud. It is swamping Minnesota and calling into question everything we know about our state. Yep. I spoke in the fall about the iceberg I saw ahead when I said that it wasn't hyperbole or rhetoric, that it was a warning. So Thompson, what was he doing? He was pointing out 14 state Medicaid programs that the Department of Human Services has deemed high risk with either suspected fraud or confirmed cases of fraud. That since 2018, those programs have cost $18 billion with the B dollars, citing Medicare and Medicaid Services data. This is just a little part of the corruption and waste. There's more. But it just goes to show you how these wonderful people that want to help poor and disabled, no, they're not interested in helping the poor and disabled. They're helping their friends steal. And their friends then pay them back, the politicians and people in power, with the money they got to steal. It's a cycle. You are the victim. Money's taken from you. Politicians, governors, and other executive branch officers let it go to their friends, the thieves, and the thieves take a cut and give it back to politicians, governors, executive branch people, and you end up funding all of it. So let's take a closer look at some of this. Here is Nick Shirley. I've talked about this briefly. Let's watch this part of this clip, a little bit of it. These are for daycares. These are supposed to be people getting paid by government to provide daycare for children that they have no father, single moms, and the mom has to work and they put the baby or the little child at the daycare so the mother can work and feed the children, right? Let's see how these daycares are actually operating.
That's taking place here in Minnesota.
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building. Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud, it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia. These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the U.S. taxpayers' expense. And in this video we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also...
Okay, so you can watch that video later on for more detail, but that was just a glimpse of what really is going on there. You know, that there is no children at any of these daycare centers at all. That supposedly that's what the government paid the money. The federal government gives it to states, or after you give the money to federal government, income taxes and payroll taxes. Then it goes to states. States give them to these people who are a bunch of thieves to begin with. Let's go a little bit more, look at this fraud a little bit more closely here, okay? See, this is Center for Medicare and Medicare Services, CMS.gov, okay? And they show you right here in this chart two government programs to help people pay for health care. Oh, and how they all differ, right? They're for health care people, Medicare and Medicare. Care for the people who are older, disabled, and chronically ill. That is what the claim is for. Care for people with limited incomes and resources. That's how they get you to sucker up and give them money, your taxes, to fund these criminals. And they're administered by federal government. This was administered by states. However, Medicare benefits are 100% by federal funds, whereas Medicaid is combination of state and federal funds. Okay, so but that's just one area. Even the areas that you think that supposed to do some good for the American people, taking care of old people, children, babies. You think those things would be done right with care, but they're not. They're all used to funnel money to the pocket of crooks and criminals connected directly or indirectly with the politicians and people in power who fund the election of those politicians. Now, let's take a look at the War Department, the military. Used to be called defense, but it's not, of course, defense. It's all offense. Wars, hurting other country. When's the last time any country ever invaded America? I know, 1812, war with England. That's the last time any country ever tried to invade us. Because they can't. We're too powerful. We're always invading them. So let's see how that War Department going. Okay? Here's September 10, 2001, Secretary of Defense at the time, Rumsfeld, announced $2.3 trillion had gone missing from the Pentagon. Yep.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions. 2.3 trillion with a T.
Yep. That's right. $2.3 trillion missing. $2.3 trillion from, this is the late 1990s years that we're looking at. This is about 25 years ago. They do not know where the money even goes. It's not like it was wasted, they paid too much for something. No. This is where they don't know where the money really went to, of why it was paid to that contractor or that company or business. They don't even know. So in today's money, if you do it inflation adjusted, that money is close to $10 trillion of your hard-earned money. You have trouble paying your bills, don't have much savings, or maybe you're doing well as a business, but you're hurting, okay, and you see you're paying such big chunk of your hard-earned money to the thieves and criminals through the federal government. What can you do? Well, we'll get to that. Hold on, okay? But look at what happened the next day. The very next day, 9/11.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
Yep. 9/11 was an inside job. That's right. Because what happened on that day, the accounting office, they had what? The section of the Pentagon where all the records of that audit you just saw. Funny thing, that's the very section that blew up in Pentagon on 9/11. Yes. We covered that another time, how 9/11 was an inside-outside job, but because it was not done by control, by what they claimed the government. But let's get to a little bit more into what Rand Paul, Senator Rand Paul, Ron Paul's son, he found out about every year reports, a big report on corruption, waste of federal government. Let's see what these reporters have to say about this, waste and corruption that Rand Paul found, okay? Here we go. That's what they got to say.
Look, let's go bigger picture. These politicians over the last 25 years have been laughing at us, putting anything into the budget that you think it's a comedy, but it is so seriously bad. There's surely a veteran on the street right now, homeless in New York City, that if you took 1/1000th of $1 million that is being wasted and took care of that person, put him in a hotel, fed him, get him better, maybe train him to get a job. No, it's going, what they did, a grasshopper on a treadmill a few years ago. I can go on and on and on of the bull crap that they have put into the budget, and they're just laughing at us and laughing at us and laughing at us. And until we get like 10...
Yes, they're laughing at you. They think you're too dumb. You're too stupid. You're gullible. You just keep paying your fair share of slavery taxes, thinking it's going to defend us from the bad guys, Russian, Chinese, Iranians, all the Arab terrorists, all the enemies they make out there, helping poor people, the disabled, the minorities, the children and the babies. Yeah, they got you believing that the money goes there, but it doesn't. Most of it.
Million people on the mall in Washington, D.C., yelling and screaming at them, enough is enough. They're not going to do anything about it. Why? Because when it all blows up, they're either going to be dead or retired in Washington, D.C., and then they're going to blame each other, both parties, while we're $50 trillion in debt, and a ton of that being waste.
And this is why people are outraged. Don't ask me to pay higher taxes here in New York City when you're wasting money like this, because that gets people incensed.
But here's the thing. This is, I think, the 10th or the 11th year of this report from Senator Rand Paul, so he's really committed to exposing this type of waste. We saw a really valiant effort from the Trump administration earlier this year trying to eliminate this with Doge and Elon Musk. I think they cut roughly $200 billion, maybe a little bit more. It's not as much as they wanted to, but it's better.
So, yes, it is pretty bad. Let's look at this a little bit, okay? $2.4 million for bug buffets to promote insects as human food. $40 million for monkeys playing video games. $2 million for saliva samplers at some festival at New York clubs. This is an example of what they do with your hard-earned money, my friends, okay? Now, let's take a little closer what these commentators got to say, because that's very much on point what they say about that right here now.
So then, Taylor, here's like the big question, the $1.6 trillion one. What needs to change? I mean, how can we really inject fiscal responsibility? I mean,
1.6 trillion waste Rand Paul found. Of the $5 trillion budget, easily found 1.6 trillion, about 30% of what you gave them is just clear, outright, open fraud, right? And waste.
According to Rand Paul, we're borrowing $75,000 every
term limit.
second.
He said it. He said it.
$6 billion a
We
day.
get 50 million people go down to D.C., and I don't want burning cities. I don't like burning cities.
But
we need to. Well, I said that because I get close to wanting to burn that whole
He said
damn
10.
place
You went up to
down.
50 million. So like you're going big.
It's a sin. It's a
revolt and make it stop. All those protests in 2020 is how we got all that DEI stuff. If there's enough of us protesting this, we'll force them to stop. Voting them out hasn't worked
Just
so
like
far.
they'll never stop spending. If you impose term limits, which will never happen, it'll return civil service too.
Oh, yeah. Voting hasn't worked. Has it? No. This waste and corruption be going on for many decades, and voting for Democrat, Republican, it just unfortunately has not been working. What's the solution? Hold on, we're going to get there. Let's watch one more clip about wars. We haven't talked about wars, right? Your money going to murdering people? Let's take a quick look at what this guy has to say about this topic, okay?
113 days until April 15th, tax day. And it's the day I and a lot of other people aren't going to pay federal taxes because, among other things, $112 billion to rebuild Gaza into a smart city, and we're going to foot half the bill after we helped pay to blow it up. It's not going to stop until we stop it.
Yep. It's not going to stop. All this waste, corruption, fraud, theft, and murder of innocent people with your money is not going to stop until we, that's you and me and the American people, choose to stop funding all this. Well, guess what? I have chosen to stop funding these crooks, criminals, thieves, and murderers for over 30 years. Yes, I'm Payman Mutahede, president of Freedom Law School. freedomlawschool.org is my website. And for over 30 years, I have not filed or paid even $1, one tax return with the IRS. They know me very well. I've been under criminal investigation and other investigations continually since 1994. Today, still going on. But I'm not in prison. Why? Because there's no law requiring the people of the 50 United States like you and me to file and pay federal income taxes. Now, I talk about IRS, first thing happens, people go just, oh no, don't talk about that. Oh, I don't want to be a martyr. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want the IRS to take all my belongings, bank account, paycheck, home, everything I worked hard all my life to save and invest, all gone. I don't want to be in that situation. Well, you won't. You've been lied to and deceived once again, my friends. All you have to do is to go to Freedom Law School's website, freedomlawschool.org. When you go there, on the front page, you'll see how you can take 7 steps to regain your power and freedom and never again voluntarily pay the Washington, D.C. swamp legally and safely with a guarantee if you wish. Click on the Start 7 Steps gold bar right there, and it takes you to the 7 steps. Number 1, you believe there's a law. Of course, there's a law. Why you got to pay income tax? That's why people go to prison if they don't file, right? Wrong. As I told you before, we follow the law. And based on the official legal websites of U.S. government, no law requires 99% of Americans to file income taxes. Citizens and residents of Washington, D.C., they have to file income taxes, not you, the people of the 50 United States of America. Now, second thing you think, oh, but Paymon, I got to file that 1040. My accountant says I got to file, otherwise I go to prison. Wrong. You go to prison when you put the rope around your neck by signing that 1040 income tax confession form. Yes, it is a confession. And you give the rope to the IRS to pull around your neck. You hang yourself, because when you file the 1040 forms, you sign and you tell the IRS under oath that you owe the IRS money. That is right. That's how you set yourself up, because they deceived you to sign that 1040 form under oath, and they can audit you now, empty your bank account, steal your crypto, your property, and put you in prison. All made possible because you signed that 1040 form. Guess what? Under penalties of perjury, under oath, you swear you owe the IRS money. That is what you got to stop doing. Sign those 1040 forms. Okay, because that's how IRS gets the power to rape you. But I know you're thinking, oh, but no, people go to prison if they don't file income tax. Yes, they do. Well, if you want to believe that, then you might as well believe in the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus as well. Because, really, Wizard of Oz has been at work brainwashing you all these decades. The same corrupt major media that lied to you. With the IRS, accountants, all these guys told you, file your taxes or you go to prison. Yes, this brainwashing been going on since our grandparents' days, with fear, shock, adoration of the government, our gullibility. And they just telling us again and again, file early. The fact of the matter is what? That IRS operates on deception and bluff. There's over 80 million Americans who do not file 1040 income tax confession forms. And the IRS's own numbers show that for about every 2 people that files 1040 form, 1 doesn't. And better than 90% of people they put in prison at IRS for taxes are filers. Yes. When you sign a paper under oath, you at the IRS at 1040, put the rope around your neck. Oh, IRS, please don't pull on my rope I just gave you, because my accountant, my CPA, my tax attorney that knows the law told me that's what I should do. That's a safe thing to do, because my accountant, CPA, tax attorney, he knows the law. He went to school, knows tax law. Baloney. This is the Internal Revenue Code, and these so-called experts do not know it. This is over 10,000 pages of gobbledygook, fine print, minutia, tissue paper thin language meant to confuse you. This does not apply to you, the American people. No, most of it does not. Unless you extract oil, for example, then it applies to you and the people of the 50 states. What they do, they hid the definitions at the end, so you don't know. It doesn't apply to people outside of Washington, D.C., or unless you have some income of some sort from inside Washington, D.C. And your accountant, CPA, tax attorney doesn't know jack about this. He was not taught this at all in school to learn about taxes and law. So once you realize that, you can take courage from our victories that none of my students has ever gone to tax prison for over 20 years, that stayed with me, came to me clean, never had the bank account, levied by the IRS for home or businesses or going to prison. This myth of the IRS Godzilla eating you up alive, whoa, it's a myth. It's a toothless lizard, as long as you don't give him that 1040 form and don't hang yourself on the neck. Okay? Now, there's a couple more steps for you to be free. It's pretty simple. Next thing you got to do is write petitions to Congress members, ask them about these laws, our legal position. They can never show us wrong. They've never shown us wrong. You're free by writing your petitions that are free on our website. Okay? At this time, then, you no longer have to pay tribute to the beast worship the beast, the corruption, criminality, and wars, and you are free. Now, you can do it on your own. You'll be just fine 99+% of the time because the IRS cannot come after 80+ million non-filers. That's right. And you can start withholding on your paycheck real easy by going on our website. On the right, go here to free yourself from tax withholding. When you click on that, guess what? The instructions are right and easy to free yourself from withholding income tax from your paycheck legally. Stop withholding from your paycheck, okay? And if you work for yourself, self-employed, stop sending quarterly estimated payments to the IRS, please. If you're an employer, stop stealing money from your paycheck of your employees. No more payroll taxes, federal payroll taxes, no more income taxes. Then keep 100% of their money, and you keep your money as well. That's all you gotta do to be free of this whole scam. So then, if you want a guarantee, guess what? Join the Restore Freedom Plan. It's an optional plan. If you have the spirit of America's founding fathers with you, okay? And these guys stood up for freedom. And so what? You could do the same thing, just like them. If you're like them, you can have 100% guarantee that the IRS will not be able to mess with you. You don't go to prison. We will pay you whatever IRS, if they ever take it from you, they will take nothing because we win. I pay the attorneys. All legal work is done for you at no additional charge. So all you gotta do, my friends, is be now a modern-day Paul Revere and tell the truth, arm your family members, friends, co-workers with the law. Yes, love everybody out there. Tell them the truth, and we'll pay you for loving and spreading the truth. So, solution is very easy. Go to freedomlawschool.org, and as you drive around, play our videos in your car, watch the road, listen. Then at work, lunch, or dinner at home, go through the videos one more time. This time, watch and listen, and you say, I know it. I don't have to allow them to take my money and give it all to thieves, crooks, and murderers. I need the money myself and my family, and I will keep it for myself, and I will choose to support however good people I want to do good work out there myself, not by having these crooks pretending they're there working for me that they're not. So go to freedomlawschool.org, play those videos, call us if you have any questions at 813-444-4800 for free. Again, though, most everything is at freedomlawschool.org. Take the 7 steps to free yourself of the IRS and have a healthy, prosperous, rich life. I give you guys my love, and that's all I can do, love and knowledge. I cannot do it for you. With all the love I have for you, I cannot do it. You have to choose freedom. So I want you to choose freedom over slavery by going to freedomlawschool.org and free yourself now with education and action. Okay, let's go to your questions. I know a lot of people wait every Tuesday night to ask their questions on their mind. This is the last Freedom Hour of the year. We're going to get busy next year because we always get busy during tax season. So we're going to go to your questions one at a time. We have right now 2 people waiting to get their questions answered from area code 952. Another one from area code 484. The number to call if you have a question is on the screen. You'll see it, 424-552-1299. Press 1 on your telephone keypad. Now we'll take a question after these 2 people. The number to call again is 424-552-1299. And then press 1 to be added to a list of people with your questions. We also just added the area code 208 caller to the list of people with questions. Okay. 952 area code caller, you're live with Freedom Law School. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Paymon. My name is Jeff. I've been part of your group for a while, or followed your path for a while. I sent the letters to my representatives. I stopped paying taxes in 2021. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay. I stopped paying taxes in 2021. A few months ago, I got a letter from a local Minnesota IRS agent demanding that I produce bank statements, credit card statements, any financial records for personal and business, and that I have a meeting with him. I just had my meeting today, and he basically just said, if you don't produce these statements and documents, then I'm going to subpoena your banks, and I'll file a return for you. How do you recommend I proceed?
Why did you not call me before we meet with him?
Well, I called earlier today and talked to Cam. I didn't. So Cam told me don't surrender any information, and I did not.
Hold on. Then you
asked
my question.
A lot of questions.
Well, let me ask you to clarify. When did you meet with him, and why, when you got the letter, did you not call me at that time before you meet with him? Why did you not call me weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
I should have. That's my bad.
Okay. So I want you to recognize, look, people, that's why I recommend you consider joining a Restore Freedom plan, because you don't go on your own and say, well, I think I'll be fine, I'll be good, which is fine. You probably will be. The IRS cannot come after 99+% of you. But when you get a letter, you don't say, well, I think I can handle it on my own. You maybe can do it on your own, but maybe not do it on your own. So Jeff already made the bad mistake of responding to the IRS agents, and the second worst thing he did was he actually met with them in person. Whether at his home or business, it doesn't matter. Because Jeff told the IRS agent, I'm not dead. I'm not drunk on Skid Row. I'm not expatriated to some foreign country like in Central America, okay, or Asia. I'm here. Number one. Number two, I am scared of you. I don't want you to hurt me. So as a result, number three, I will meet with you to minimize any hurt you might do to me. And he knows you're there, you're alive, you're afraid. That's why you meet with him. And what else do you think he'll accept from you? The only thing he wants from you
let me clarify
is a 10 for. Hold on, let me finish. I'll address your question, Jeff. I'm going to do it for everybody else, not just you, my friend. We have this question answer session to help everybody and the person asking the question. So I'll get to your situation in a minute, Jeff. I'll come around to that. So what happened with Jeff is, unfortunately, he met with him. And the only thing these agents want from you is a 10 for income tax confession from under oath from you. Or you give him all your financial information so he can make one for you. That is the only thing that could come out of that meeting with them, or you give him nothing. But if you're going to give him nothing anyways, no 1040 confession form, no information for them to make up 1040 confession form for you, why meet with them in the first place? You shouldn't. So, but what's done is done. I cannot undo what Jeff did to himself. But the one thing I can recommend to Jeff is don't meet him again. Number one. Number two, join Restore Freedom Plan. And for any years that he does not come after you, you can be covered. But for the years that he looks like very likely will come after you, because you've met with him in person now you made yourself a visible, known, verified, scared Target, we can help you with that at an extra charge down the road. If and when over 90%, he'll go more serious and will come after you in a real, meaningful, legal way. At this point, what he does to you does not mean anything. Okay? Legally, it means zero. But it looks to me like, based upon what has happened, he will go on 90+% to send you at some point, a notice of tax deficiency, a tax proposal letter that will have penalty interest added to it, and you have to challenge this thing that could be, I don't know, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars that he'll claim you owe the IRS, and you have 90 days to go to tax court and challenge it. Yes, and that's your best option, to challenge him somehow or another, and you'll need my help to challenge that, whatever large number of tax proposals that it comes after you at that time. So, but at this point, the only thing, the best thing for you is simply do not respond to anything. The only thing that could come out of that is him scaring you more with threats of putting you in prison, taking your stuff, auditing you, summoning your bank records and everything else like blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? If you can do it, go ahead. You cannot stop him from getting your bank records anyways. So nobody can stop him from getting bank records. Unfortunately, that's how it is. So doesn't matter. You were targeted. You got the negative lottery. So now you just increase the odds of him coming after you, but you writing to him. Had you ignored him, the chances would have been maybe 50-50. He would have left you alone, or she, because you could be dead. You know, he doesn't know that, or she, okay? At this point, you increased the odds of him coming after you, Jeff. So with that explanation, do you have any further questions, my friend?
Well, I just want to clarify a little bit. So I had met with the IRS in March of this year, and I sent you the recording of that conversation because I specifically met with them to establish what trade or business means according to the IRC, and they couldn't give me an answer. And so when I got this, I'm not afraid, and I wasn't afraid when I met with him today. The agent was actually visibly shaking because I wouldn't answer any questions. I was asking him questions to which he could not come up with an answer for. And at the beginning of the meeting, I had set my recorder right in the middle of the table and started recording. And about halfway through, or 30 minutes in, he said, "Wait, are you recording?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I am." I thought that was obvious. I put it right in the middle of the table. And so he said, "Well, you can't record. That's against, policy or whatever." So I stopped the recording, and we ended shortly after that. But he said, "If you have questions, send them to me, and I'll do my best to answer them." So I guess my question is, do I respond with a letter asking the pertinent questions, which are in the letters to the representatives, all of those questions, defining the U.S. person and trader business, individual, all that stuff.
Where did you meet him? At your home or business? Where did you meet him, Jeff?
At their local office.
Okay. All right. Let me, in your unique situation, because you told me that you saw he or she was nervous, he or she was afraid, which is a good thing in this case. Then in this case, because of unique circumstances of that, and because you already met with them, I don't want to have people go through this process because it's chancy, but you took the chance and maybe it works out better anyhow. Maybe. You go meet with him one more time. And this time, you sit down with him, have our petition to Congress ready, and have our Restore Freedom brochure with you that says follow the law, regain your power and freedom. And to look, I'm willing to file and pay income taxes with you today completely before you show them this. But I need you to go over this 12-page brochure with me, okay? And then I'll read to my congressman about it, which I can show that to you in a little bit. Let's go together, show me where I'm wrong, because I don't think I'm required to file and pay federal income taxes. and you go over it. You say, pay no income payroll taxes but following the U.S. government's official legal websites. We the American people, were deceived into reporting and paying income tax. We the American people, never owed it in the first place. Just read it. Okay? And then hand it to him, and hand him our petition. Say, look now, you realize that you were deceived into robbing the American people. So now you have a choice to make. Stay ignorant, even though now you see the truth, and keep working to rob people, even though the law is against you. You just saw that to you. Here you see the actual photocopy of the law as published by the government from the own website of the House of Representatives. Or you can stand up for truth and righteousness and tell your superiors and confront them, hey, why are we imposing income tax on the people of the 50 states that there's no law requiring them to file income tax? Why are we enslaving American people? I'll give you extra copies of these. I'll give you additional several copies. Take you to at least 3 levels of your superiors. And you ask them. You educate them, okay, about this. And if they insist on not answering you, you took an oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. The American people got to be protected. That's what you took an oath to uphold. To uphold the freedom of American people by upholding the law. So follow the law, like I just showed you. And if they don't give you straight answers, and you can have no further influence on them to go up the ladder, you can quit. But don't be a robber. Don't be a thief, because you were also deceived, just like most American people. And follow up with them on that. Let's see what happens. Because it looks like you may have a purse of conscience on your side, and we need whistleblowers to come out. You could tell them, look, contact Freedom Law School. They're here. He'll be happy to hear from you. Okay, just pay him on the guy. He hasn't filed income tax for over 30 years. Openly, the IRS knows him. They've been in court. He has beaten the IRS more than once. In their own courts even. And out of the courts. With the IRS agents themselves. So, how come he's not in prison for not filing and paying income tax? And I'm not either. Unless you show me I'm wrong about the law. Because I believe in everybody should follow the law. So in your case, I suggest you do that. And I would recommend you have a couple, maybe 3 friends be with you watching it. Okay? Couple local patriots, friends,
I did bring someone with me today.
Bring more people with you next time. And then, by the way, just want to make a record of this. By the way, the law says any interview by the IRS could be interviewed. Yes. Interviews by the IRS can be interviewed, so there's no misunderstanding. I want to make sure everything is clear and no confusion. So you can record, I can record, and I'll give you a copy of mine. You're the one wanting to meet with me? Fine. I'm meeting with you and having a civil, calm, peaceful conversation to come to a civil resolution of this problem for a happy ending for everybody. So you do that and stay in touch with me, Jeff, as well. Anything else?
Okay. I would like to point out that I did do a FOIA request for his oath of office, and it did come back deficient according to 5 U.S.C. 3331. I questioned him on that, and he didn't have an answer. So whether his oath of office is not valid, and as are most SF-61s, they're not a valid oath of office according to United States Code. I've run this multiple times. So he's got a plausible deniability, or the IRS does, rather.
Don't get distracted with that, my friend. Just don't go all over the place with all those different issues. Okay, be laser.
Okay.
To shoot an animal, you need one good bullet straight to the head. You don't need to shoot 20 different bullets at the animal. One good bullet does the job. That is about the law that he is believing that he has to force on you to file and pay income tax. Make it quick, simple, to the point, kiss. Keep it simple, silly, right? You heard that saying, keep it simple? I think you'll do better, my friend.
Yep.
All right, Jeff.
Okay.
Anything else?
Sounds good.
All right,
Thank you.
Friend. You're welcome.
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Okay, we have, let's see, we just added area code 51 to area code caller to people with questions. So we're going to go now to the 4H4 area code caller. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please. Are you there from area code 484? Hello, are you there? From area code 484 caller. Okay, he's not there. Let's go to the next caller we have from area code 208. Please give me your first name, how you heard about us, and then your question, please, from area code 28. Let's do this quicker, okay?
Hey there. Hey there, can you hear me?
Yes, what's your name?
Hey, it's Billy.
How'd you hear about Freedom Law School?
Followed you. Yeah, followed you on YouTube. Love the material you put out. Got questions on a variety of questions, but I'll try to keep them short, though. I know that a lot of business decisions happen through LLC structuring and formation so that you can take advantage of tax sheltering, tax accountants and assets, asset formation and trust formation and things like that. Are all those strategies just pointless now if you don't submit for taxes?
Depends on what you mean by those words. You're not being very clear. Let me answer you this way. Throughout the decades, many people claim that, to be free of the IRS, you do buy into a sovereign trust or pure trust or constitutional trust or some magic whiz bank trust, okay? Or do this entity or that entity, all that stuff. That is not true. You do not need to do any kind of business entity formation to be free of the IRS. You're already free just the way you are. Now, however, if you have a legitimate business reason, you want to create an LLC or a corporation, or you have proper estate planning needs, you want to create a trust, that type of thing, that is just fine. For those reasons, do that. Okay? But you don't need them for any IRS purposes. Does that help you with your question?
Yeah, maybe I should clarify further. I guess it's more so I'm thinking of maybe not LLCs and trusts as much, but more so tax-advantaged accounts like Roth IRA, HSA, health savings account, things like that, tax-advantaged. Are those no longer necessary, or you don't need to, engage them in your strategy because you're not doing taxes?
Well, of course not. You don't need them at all. Those are only for people who they are citizens or residents of Washington, D.C. They have to file an income tax, and they can play those games to reduce the taxes they owe to Washington, D.C. government, the United States government. You don't need to do any of those games with the French government, French taxes, or German or Japanese taxes, because you're not from Germany, France, or Japan. Just the same way you're not from the District of Columbia. That's a foreign country with respect to the 50 countries, 50 states of America. Remember, people, America is not one country. We are 50 countries, the 50 states, plus one agent country. The District of Columbia government, United States, was given D.C. to be free of interference and influence of other states that could overpower it way back in the late 1700s when it was created. Okay, so the federal income tax is written primarily, the federal tax laws, most of them, like income tax, are written for people of District of Columbia, not the 50 states. None of those games are necessary for you to play at all whatsoever.
Gotcha. So if you own a home, there's no need to worry about keeping track of depreciation as a tax write-off because you don't submit taxes. So that kind of goes out the door.
Correct. You can focus on your life.
Okay.
Don't have to play these games and waste your time all this record keeping. You know, that as a slave. You're no longer a slave to keep record for your master. Master, government, IRS, I'm a good little slave. I can show you and prove to you I'm entitled to all those expenses, deductions, credits, and breaks that you as my master has allowed your humble servant for me to have. Because you're not a slave to begin with.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Yeah. So, you know, buy stocks, things like that. Pay taxes on the gain. You know, things like that. That doesn't matter.
Same thing.
It looks like
are you from Washington, D.C.? You do. You're not from D.C. United States and tax law does not mean the 50 states. United States person is not a 50 states person. It's a District of Columbia person in the Internal Revenue Code. United States and tax law means Washington, D.C., not the 50 states, whether it's stocks, bonds, real estate, crypto, wages, salaries, commissions, business income, whatever. It's not from the country of D.C., District of Columbia, nor are you a citizen or resident of District of Columbia. You do not owe income tax on it, whether you're from California, Texas, France, Germany, Japan, or North Dakota.
Yep. Yeah. So then when you're working with your accountant or your asset manager or your trust attorney, you know, whatever, and you're doing your normal estate planning and whatever, do you have advice on finding the right people to have in your circle who, you know, can give you advice from their respective areas of expertise, but they're in alignment with your, you know, position of being a non-filer? You know what I mean?
That's easy. Put them to the test. Give them our Restore Freedom brochure. Pay them to read it with you. Pay them to meet with you. See for themselves that no law requires 99% of Americans to file and pay income and payroll taxes. Tell them I'll pay him $50,000 reward if he can show any legal thing wrong in what I have in this 12-page brochure. I'll give you many of them as you want for free and sit down with them. You pay your account. Hey, I'm going to pay your hourly wages. Yes. I want you to read this. I want you to go to Freedom Law School's website and step 1 on the law. I want you to go in and watch this 12-minute video, okay? 10-minute video on the front page and show up if payment is Freedom Law School is wrong. There's more videos. I'll pay you to watch his other short videos or longer ones he has here. If he's wrong, I want you to show me because I want to make sure that I follow the law. I'm not in trouble with the IRS, with the government in any way. So you supposed to know about this stuff? Let's go through it together. And your accountant may be the right honest guy. Yes. I've had honest accountants who were confronted with this stuff. At first, they were surprised. One of them in particular went home and told his wife, I think payment wants me to do tax fraud. But he had the integrity, despite his suspicions, to take a closer look at the issue, take a second look, and look deeper. And when he did, found out, oh, wow, Freedom Law School payment is right. And he lost the pizzazz, interest, to keep making people enslaved, okay, and quit his job. Okay, so your account could be one of those guys that decides to stop making people slaves, and instead he could refer them to Freedom Law School. We pay him to refer people to our Restore Freedom Plan to be free. He might think, oh, wow, that's a better way to go. We'll be happy to pay him if he loves and spreads the truth by becoming a modern-day Paul Revere. That is the choice he'll have only after you give him that choice by telling him about Freedom Law School and having him read our brochure about the law on our website and see where his conscience is at.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you guys work with any millionaires or billionaires, high net worth individuals in the program?
I do work with high net worth individuals. Yes, I do. Billionaires? No, not yet. They're coming. Okay, but I do, of course, we work with everybody. Low income, high income, doesn't matter. We're here to love everybody, help everybody who is interested in freedom.
Why does it take so long for the billionaires to come around?
There's so few of them, number one. Okay, because let's face it, vast numbers of Americans don't make much money. So to have interest in freedom, you're just like anybody else. Okay. Number two, you got people around you. The rich of the people, they have a slave caretaker that keeps them enslaved. It's called bookkeeper, accountant, enrolled agent, or worse, certified public accountant, or tax attorney. Oh my gosh, all these experts with all these degrees are telling me, the official degrees from universities are telling me, oh no, you should go get the corona jab to be safe. Oh, I mean, you should file a tax return. Otherwise, you will die of corona. Otherwise, you'll go to prison if you don't file an income tax. Same thing.
Yeah.
That's the problem. They trust and believe in the degree that the CPA tax attorney has. And so they just say, okay, I'm doing okay. I don't want to risk getting in trouble with the IRS. I just go the way I've always done every year. It looks like so far I'm doing okay. I guess I'll just keep going this route.
Yeah. Yep. And wrapping up here, if my employer has already submitted, taxes, and I'm not going to file, let's say I don't file, this coming year, there's no way I'm going to get those monies that he already submitted.
Only by filing a 10-4 income tax confession form. Next week, I'll cover how you can stop income tax stealing by your employer withholding. We just updated it for a 2026 IRS form. We'll cover that issue in next week. In fact, right now, the form is on our website. If you go under, here it is, under our website at freedomlawschool.org, on the right, the drop-down menu, free yourself from tax withholding, third item there. Click on that, and you can follow the instructions and give that to your employer in January and stop them stealing from your money, from your paycheck. Then you no longer have to file to get some of that stolen money back.
Okay, so just submit that form.
Yep, follow the instructions on our website. Okay, I got written instruction. The form's in there. I'm going to do a video about it next Tuesday night. Just follow the instruction, my friends. All easy to use for everybody out there.
Okay, that's great. And he said he would be willing to pay me $10.99 too from a W-2, and he was like, well, there's one benefit to doing your taxes, and that helps with your credit. That helps you build the credit, and I know there are other ways of building your credit. But could you speak to that?
How paying taxes help your credit? Who told you that?
Yeah, he said that. I'm like, well, I mean, that kind of makes sense, but I don't know if that actually does or not.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
I guess if it helps you keep paying the money and it can convince you that brushing your teeth, will help you also with buying a home. You can brush your teeth more often too, just because he says so.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. So, no list of CPAs or attorneys or accountants that are non-filer, aware, trained, or anything like that?
Well, no, I do have accountants I know that do not file income tax. Are you looking for what? Are you a business owner or are you an employee?
Yeah, a business owner, and will be multiple business owners. So, you still got to have people do work for you. But
so let me clear. You confused me because you say you have business, but then you say you're employee becoming a 1099. So if you're an employee, you don't need an accountant. Really, just stop the withholding, But what I hear you is that you have businesses and employee at the same time right now, and you're thinking about having your employment job become also an independent contractor. Is that what you're saying? What's your situation?
Yeah, so it's kind of a combination situation right now, and in the close future, it'll change quite a bit. But right now, I kind of do have a an employee situation at W-2, but he said he would be willing to pay me 1099, so that makes me a contractor. But and then, my wife, we've got multiple operations that we're working on, things that will grow in time. So, yeah, it's a mixed bag.
Okay. Yeah. So repeat your question again one more time.
Yeah. Do you have a list of accountants, CPAs, folks that are trained or experienced in working with non-filers?
Yes, I do have a private list, yes, but I don't hand them out.
Is that
I reserve them for our students.
How do we get a hold of that?
I reserve them for our students. If you become a Restore Freedom Plan member, yes, I'll be happy to share that those sources with you. Absolutely, be happy to, because there's not that many of those guys yet at this point. Okay, so they get pretty booked pretty quickly. So in order to make sure that, in fact, they should charge more for what they do. Many of them are really good people, like Joe Bannister, former IRS special agent, one of my students. He's very busy. I tell him, Joe, you got to charge more. Okay, he hasn't charged more. He just so I do have people, but I try to reserve them for people who are willing to fund our efforts to awaken the American people, the giants, to work together to restore freedom.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so just follow up with you offline about that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Payman. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Billy. Thank you for calling, my friend. We have two more callers from area code 512 and 559, but let's put the number out one more time on the screen. If you have a question, the number to call is 424-552-1299, and you press 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, the number to call is 424-552-1299, and then press 1 on your telephone keypad. Oh, excuse me. All right, let's go to the 5112 area code caller. Call, give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School,
my name,
and then your question, please.
My name is Al. I am a member, and here's the question. We know that the IRS has a dirty habit of putting liens on people's property, and then they just let the penalties and fines and things accumulate, and then after you die, they take all of your money that way. So I'm kind of curious, because I might not be a member after I die. So I'm kind of curious how we approach that situation, because I really have most of my money in my property. It's just, it's just a property, but that's my curiosity.
Do you have a lien right now against your property?
No. If I did, I would be calling you first. Like I say, I'm a member. I'm just curious.
Right. Well, the first thing you said is not correct, Al. You said IRS has a habit of filing liens. That's not correct. Okay? IRS can't just willy-nilly file liens against people. There's a legal process they have to go through. For filers, it's quick and expedited. For those people that don't file a 10 for income tax confession form, the process is very long and extensive and time-consuming, especially if you challenge them like we do by following the law. Okay, that the IRS does not want to do, because it takes too much of government's resources to try to come after 80 million plus Americans who do not file 10 for income tax confession trap form. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit about that on our 7 steps. Okay, that we have on our website. If you go to step 3, the IRS operates on deception and bluff. Okay. You're going to watch the 7 steps out, okay? Go inside there, okay? There you'll see, if you go down on this page, you'll see a chart. This chart is under category 4. IRS cannot even keep up with filers who have confessed to own the IRS money, okay? And forced collections or levies are down by 9% since 2011. That is huge. Back in 2010, IRS, filed 3.6 million levies against people taking banking on paychecks. Okay, liens at that time in 2011 was only 1 million. Okay, about 1 million. Where's the thing on that? Okay, now you come down to 2021. Number of levies or taking bank account money by force is 305,000, and liens are about 200,000 only. And most of these people are fathers. Yes, by far they're fathers, because you confess that you owe the IRS on the 1040 form. All there is left to do is to have you pay, and then file a lien on any real estate that may be in your name. In case you sell that real estate, the IRS gets paid first before you get any money. So that is how they file liens against non-filers. There's an extensive process of IRS sending you notice of deficiency. You can charge them in tax court, appeal to the Court of Appeal. Then down the road, if they decide to go to collection, they have to send you a collection due process opportunity letter before they file the levy, and you can charge them at that time, perhaps again. Okay, appeal up to tax court, appeal up to Court of Appeal. They may file a lien, but the liens also file off automatically after 10 years. That's right. They can renew them after 10 years, but they usually do not do that. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the IRS willy-nilly filing tax liens on you. Okay, and as a member of Restore Freedom Plan, look, if you're older, you're worried about you passing away out, okay, make sure your heirs are also Restore Freedom Plan members. Because that way, heaven forbid, you go prematurely to heaven, they now become your heirs. We protect them and any property that they get from inheritance from you as Restore Freedom Plan members. If the ever IRS takes the money by force in any way from them, by force, we'll reimburse them. So that's how it works, my friend. Any other questions, Al?
Well, I appreciate that. It appears to be statistically unlikely that anything will happen. So, and I probably can get my kids in. So,
yes, you should. Al, how old are you, brother?
62.
I'm 63. So, yes, definitely get your children. My children are also Restore Freedom Plan members also. Why not yours? You are the father. You are the guide. You are the man with knowledge, experience, and wisdom. It is your job to educate them. Call us. We'll give you mail as many of our brochures you want. Restore Freedom brochure, or on the front page. This beautiful couple. Fast track your success. They have the same content inside. We mail it to you all for free. So you can give it to them, hand it to them, review it with them, or text, email them to our website. Okay? And educate them to be free. Then they're completely protected now and in the future. And your inheritance. Any other questions, Al?
Yeah, they're good kids. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling, Al.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, we have one more caller from area code 559, but before I'm going to announce the number, if you have a question, here's your chance to get online to get your question answered. Call 424-552-1299 and press 1. 424-552-1299 and press 1 to get on the list of people asking a question to get answered. 559 area code caller, give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hello, Payman. My name is Tony, and I've called in before, and I've heard of your Freedom Law School movement through a YouTube channel, through an interview that you did. So, yeah, I do have a question. I just would like to share a quick experience. So the last few times I called was in regards to, I was questioning on if I have to petition the Congress in order to give the exempt form that you provide on your website? And the answer is yes. Like, I have to follow every single step according to your website, right? And I'll be honest, I was being lazy. In my mind, I think I wanted a short way, and because it takes quite a bit of a process to do it the right way according to the steps that you provide. So I finally overcame that hump. I did it correctly. I went to the Postal Service and got the certified receipts and all that. So now I'm legit, and I just feel great about it, man. And I want to thank you for your patience and thank one of your employees. His name is George, for assisting me. He was very professional. So I just want to say that. So thank you, guys. And I do have a question.
Yes, my friend. Go ahead.
So the question is, so now that I petitioned it officially, petitioned Congress, how often do I have to do that? Because in my line of work,
once.
It would seem
just once in your lifetime. Easy answer.
Understood. Comprende. Well, thank you, Payman. Okay. Wait, one last question. Do you plan on having Joe Bannister on your show again? Man, hearing you two together, it's like legends. Legendary interviews with you two.
Yes, I'll have him, and probably maybe sometime, maybe February, we'll have him on, guys. February or March, we'll have Joe Bannister. Again, we should do that during tax season. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do a better job even this time with the next interview. We'll do it with him. He put his video on his website also, by the way. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. You did? Okay, yeah. So, yes, we'll have Joe Bannister again also. No problem, my friend. You got it.
Okay. Okay, Payman. Well, God bless you guys. Happy New Year, man. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. By the way, the thing about petitions I'll cover next week is, number one, you want to read and understand them. Okay? That's number one, that you read, understand that, I'm not required to file income taxes. When you send it to your congressman, you go even further. You go the extra mile to show you humility, that you want to double check with your lawmakers. Furthermore, okay, you are making a record of your belief and understanding about the law by your act of sending it to your congressman to correct you if you are wrong. And thirdly, you're doing your right as an American to educate and ask your congressman to follow the law, enforce the law on the government, and have the law breakers in government put out of place, which is the Congress's job and power to do. So keep going on that, Tony. You're doing good, brother. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see. The 4848 call looks like he left. So I see. We're gonna go to the questions online, unless someone has a question that wants to call in. The number again is 424-552-1299. Press 1. The board is open if you have a question you want to ask right now live. Let's see. Who you have a question on the board to some of the question? No with questions online? Because if you don't, we're going to wrap it up, guys. I appreciate you guys being with me. This is the last Freedom Hour of the year. And so this is going to be a great year. We have here's a question from, let's see, Ramainhofer. I was driving, good answers. I'm ready to do this, but it seems these parasites hound you for years. Will I need a lawyer in perpetuity? No, they do not hound you for years. What you're suffering from, my friend, is the deception of the swamp. Okay? You fall for the bluff and deception that the IRS is this powerful monster that they're not. They are the true Wizard of Oz. That's the problem. The Wizard of Oz, that belief that the IRS will hound you forever, is from the lies of the experts on CNN, MSNBC, Fox News that tell you, wow, pay your taxes, otherwise IRS will come after you with penalty and interest. Whoa. All these decades of lies, brainwashing by corrupt, charismatic preachers who don't want to lose their tax exempt status, they think. Okay, CPA accountants, bookkeepers, the media. No, IRS will not hound you forever. However, if you want to be extra protected, just join a Restore Freedom plan. That's why it's there. Okay? Many of you are poor. You want to do it on your own. Keep 100% of your money. IRS will leave you alone anyways. Okay? No problem. But, if you are a little worried, you want to be concerned, and or you want to be part of restoring America to greatness, like America's founding fathers did, join our Restore Freedom Plan and you'll be 100% protected from the IRS, okay? As long as you're a member of Restore Freedom Plan, we will pay the lawyers, not you. We make sure that way you win. If the IRS comes after you, if they take your money anyhow by force, we'll reimburse you. And you will not go to prison either. So hope that helps you, my friend, okay? All right. Now, the question is, are you protected if you join the Freedom Law School Restore Freedom Plan? Are you protected if you follow what you teach on the website and send a petition to the Congress representatives? Well, here's the thing. The petitions will protect you from IRS putting you in prison, yes. But they do not protect you from IRS coming and come after you for money and taking your money. Number two, even though the petitions do protect you from IRS putting you in prison, when you go to court, you will need an attorney to help you with your defense of that with the petitions properly. So you still have to pay for the attorney, even though you got the strong, solid foundation of a defense. You have that with your petitions, but still you're going to want to get an attorney to make sure it's done right for you, presented properly to the jury. At Restore Freedom Plan, we provide all that for you and myself to make sure it's done right. So yes, if you want to be 100% safe, the best way to go is to join the Restore Freedom Plan. Okay? There's another question now I see. Scott McMillan, I want a t-shirt with that graphics cartoon on it. Actually, which one? We got several different ones, okay? So we'll do those things, actually. We got more of them coming up, by the way. Which one? Tell us. Let's take a vote. which of the steps t-shirts is nicer? We got cartoons. See, here, let me show you. Step number 2. Got the citizen hanging himself by signing a 1040 income tax form, giving it to the IRS to hang him with. That's one. The second one we have cartoon is the one Wizard of Oz, okay, scaring Dorothy and her friends to be slaves of Wizard of Oz, the IRS. The next one is about you being brainwashed. American people brainwashed all their lives to be slaves, afraid of the IRS, right? The other one we got step 4, one of my favorites, personally, is IRS, not being a Godzilla, but being a fireless little lizard, okay? I also like the 5th one a lot. Those who pay tribute to the beast worship the beast, the IRS. It's really slavery, okay? And look, like I said, the Founding Fathers is really great by itself, and that's not a cartoon. And of course, we made one with what's the name we call it? The riots. What's his name? We got the riots for freedom. Paul Revere. That's right. You'll be Paul Revere. So let us know which one you like. In fact, I got a T-shirt already we made. Where's our T-shirt? You want a T-shirt to show people? We got a T-shirt we're going to send our members very soon. We just made one recently. So I'll show that to you, okay? But we might do more of these T-shirts, That might not be a bad idea. Get some more T-shirts. Let's see, got a question? Huh? They're going to T-shirts, yeah. Did he comment out there, say anything else? No? Okay, yeah. So I'll go to the T-shirts for you guys that we got. We got one with a Bitcoin T-shirt for Bitcoin events when we go there for Bitcoiners. And then we got another one about income tax being voluntary. All right, we have a call right now from area code 814, looks like, just joining us. So while they get the T-shirt, I'll give the 814 area code caller question. You got the T-shirt? Okay, let's see. Here we go. This T-shirt on the front says, let's see, income tax is voluntary. What? You're still volunteering? Washington, D.C. people have to pay income tax. Yep. And in the back, it says income tax is voluntary, freedomlawschool.org, and that, what you call that box, you can scan that and go to our website. So, yes, I like the laughs, folks, okay? I like to have fun. Why not? Have fun with all this. All right, 814, you could call, give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hi, Paymon. My name is Caesar. I'm from Pennsylvania. My question is, it's a Commonwealth state. Like, if we don't file for the income tax, what about the county and state taxes?
Pennsylvania is one of the few states that has this income tax system as a country, completely separate and distinct from the federal tax system. It does not follow the federal laws or definitions or forms. So if you're from Pennsylvania, you need to pay the Pennsylvania state income tax, and if your county has a county income tax, you need to pay that also.
Right.
Unless the county tax attaches itself to federal law definitions or federal laws, okay, or federal law forms, okay. That's a county by county decision. It has to be made by looking at that county's laws and income tax form. Okay.
So, but see, my
sure, go ahead.
If I go to an account, if I go to an accountant, they're gonna, with all the paperwork and stuff. So, I'm a small business owner, but how would they pretty much like go about if I don't file for the 1099? I mean, not 1099, the 1040 for the income tax for the federal. How would they, do it separately with the state and county? Would they do that? I don't know.
It could be done. I'm going to look up Pennsylvania income tax form, okay? So let's see. Form from individuals. Department of Revenue of Pennsylvania. Let's see. I haven't looked at it for a long time. Personal income tax forms. Let me see what they show in here. Okay. Let's see what the form they have. Income tax return. Here we go. PA. All right. For individual. Okay. So all you gotta do. Let me zoom in on a little bit bigger for that for you guys. You can read it a little bit. The 1040. This is a Pennsylvania state tax form. Okay. So after your personal information, they'll want your gross compensation. Okay. Net compensation. Just put the numbers in. You see, there's nothing. Just do the numbers. All you got to put the numbers in. Net income. Just put the numbers in. You don't need the federal forms at all.
Okay. So pretty much when I go down and I'll just say, hey, I'm just filing for the state and county.
Yes.
That's all I need to tell them?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because I'm definitely thinking really hard in joining you guys, so you'll definitely be hearing from me.
Okay.
Also, I had filled out the things to get those brochures, and it's been a little bit. I haven't got any of the brochures that I applied for.
When was that you did that?
I'll say a couple months ago, maybe.
I apologize to you. We apparently messed up on that. So would you do me a favor, call again and make a request. We'll be happy to mail it out to you. I'm sorry for having dropped your order, my friend.
Oh, no worries. I'll do that. I'll give you a call then.
You give us a call or online, the forum, either way, whatever works for you. Please do it again. Sorry about that. We get in that system.
Okay, no worries.
Got better. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, my friend.
Well,
Any other questions?
I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you for calling, Caesar. Do you have people with questions? Because my screen doesn't show the screen's all you put up there. I guess we have nobody with questions anymore. The number is 552. No, so what's the number? Put the number on the screen, guys. 408. I forget the number. 424 552 1299 and press 1. 424 552 1299 and press 1. And I get your question answered. And no question online either, guys?
Hey.
We're good? Okay.
One more.
Yes. We still got Caesar on still. You have another question, Caesar?
Hey.
Yes.
I do. I want one of them T-shirts. So when I become a member, I get one, right?
You'll get one, yes. We go. That's one of the plan to do is get one of those
Okay.
T-shirts. Send out to all of our members. And yes, that's one thing that will be done. Yeah. But when you call and tell us when you become a member, say what size you want to make sure we get you the right size. Because we have to send everybody like a large or extra large and say, hey, if you get the wrong one, let us know so we can fix it. But yeah, so that would be helpful if you want a T-shirt to be right off the size get-go. Yes, no problem. We have a question there. Okay, are there American expats in Iran? Are the American expats living in Iran? You know, I highly doubt that any expatriates would want to go to Iran. Iran has been under sanctions, severe sanctions by America, okay, for a long time. And so it's caused for Iran to not be able to update its oil refining capabilities, oil extraction capabilities, sell oil internationally. And so they have because they cannot produce enough electricity. They literally cannot produce enough electricity in Iran. So every day you got blackouts, rolling blackouts through most of Iran. But this is the reason why Iran wants nuclear reactors to be able to provide enough electricity to the people of Iran. And the factories cannot operate. They lose a lot of money and production because they don't have electricity. Okay? People, that problem. You have hours of no air conditioning in a hot summer in Iran because of that. So now the lies and propaganda of Netanyahu for over 20 years have said Iran is that close to having a nuclear weapon. Mr. Liar, you got over 200 nuclear weapons, Netanyahu. You're sitting on Israel. My dad told me in early 1970s, because he was a friend with the Israeli ambassador in Iran. Okay, my dad grew up with him, who told me back then Israel had nuclear weapons. So it's all a bunch of lies, of course. What's new with politicians, right? So because of that, and I believe also that the government is, some of you heard of HAARP, H-A-A-R-P. HAARP is the weather modification program that the federal government has been using for over 40 years for weather modification. We do not know the extent of how HAARP can do damage, create typhoons, hurricanes, droughts, or otherwise, but they obviously is part of the military and it's national security. So they want to use it, of course, for military uses, like countries that do not like Iran. They also have a severe water problem right now. It hasn't rained that much there. Who knows how much they've done mess with the atmosphere. So Iran doesn't get as much water. Other countries get more as a result. So I don't know, because none of us knows exactly, but I don't think anybody would want to go there, for living, because you got to speak Persian. So a lot of expats that I've heard about go to Central America, like, Costa Rica, Panama, Belize, these countries out there, or they go to Southeast Asia, like Vietnam and Thailand and those kind of places. Okay? No other caller, no more questions online? All right, guys, it's my pleasure to have been with you in year 2025. My dream is for America to have no longer this income tax and payroll income tax slavery system, which is based upon fraud and deception on you, the American people. What, you're not about the question? Just when I'm saying goodbye? All right. Let's go to it. What's his number? I can't see the number there. Area 385 area you could call her. I'll come back with my closing message a little bit later on. Can you move this a little bit that way, guys? I can see it. 385-400. Okay. All right, my friend. Put him on live, please. Please give me your first name, caller. How you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hey, Paymon, this is Mikey.
Hello, Mikey. How'd you hear about us?
Stu Peters.
Very good. And how may I help you?
My question is, I'm married, filed jointly, have one dependent. How much would it cost for me to join the Freedom Law School?
Well, go to your computer. I'll show you, and I can take everybody else to my computer. That's easy. Depends on your situation. To join and restore freedom plan. So you go to freedomlawschool.org. On the top up center of the page, it says sign up. Click on the sign up. Okay. You agree to the terms. Say I agree. Click on that. And then let me make this page a little bit bigger. You can see it easier. Okay. And here, restore freedom plan, membership, calculator, and application. So you want to join for your 2024, 25, what year?
For 25.
25. Okay, all right. You said you're married. Your wife is joining with you. No problem. I'll put that on there. Your wife is joining. And do you have any employment income as an employee? How much you make? You made in 25.
About 130.
130,000. Okay. And then do you have any business profits, independent contractor, or just an employee?
Nope, just employee.
Just employee. So 0 there. How much income tax was withheld from your paycheck by your employer in 25?
I haven't got it yet, but typically it's been about 10 to 12,000.
Okay.
12,000.
12,000. Okay. We put that 12,000 just to give you an idea, because that makes the difference. How much you already paid, okay? And you have one child under 16. I'll put that in there, correct? 16 or under.
Yep.
Do you have any other source of income or not?
None.
None. No. Okay, very good. Let's see. Your membership is only $2,000. Now, if your withholding was a lower amount, let's say $5,000, I'm just going to put that in there. Okay? Your membership would still be $2,000. If your membership was, let's say, if your withholding was, let's say, $1,000, okay? Just give you a different idea. Your membership would be $2,500. So it depends on all the factors.
Okay, I have one more question.
Sure.
So let's say I sign up. I've got to fill out the forms to my employer, and would I just go exempt at that point?
Yes.
Because I need them to stop taking the money out, you know what I mean?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, so would that be what I would do? So if I sign up with you, then I just notice to my employer that I'm exempt from federal tax? Is that what I need to do?
You don't simply notice them per se. We have a way of properly, legally stop income tax withholding or stealing from your paycheck, okay, legally and safely. So that's to fill out the W-4 form correctly, properly, with proper attachments, send petition to your Congress members about the income tax, all that stuff. So all that process, you can do it on your own for free. Or as a Restore Freedom Plan member, we make sure that it's done for you completely and properly.
Okay. So if I sign up, you help me do this?
Yes, we walk you. Remember, as a member of a Restore Freedom Plan, you get unlimited consultation and help. Any question, issue, situations that relates to the income tax, with employers, with the IRS or third party, we will take care of it. Attorneys, if they need to get paid, we'll pay the attorneys. You don't pay them any money whatsoever. And if they ever take your money by force, we'll reimburse you whatever IRS took from you by force. We do all the work because we don't want to reimburse you. We want to win. But even if we were to lose, they take your money, we'll reimburse you. So you have actually no risk whatsoever. Okay? And you don't go to prison either because the petition is protected from criminal prosecution, and we will make sure that you have an attorney and myself there to protect you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go on the online and sign up then. Yeah, I shouldn't be paying this money, having it stolen from me. Neither should anyone else.
Yep.
You know? And if there's that legal loophole there because of how things are worded, then, yeah. I guess I'm ready to take the leap then, Paymon. So, thank you.
You're welcome. Now remember, it's not a loophole. It's not a loophole at all. Let me just refresh all of you a little bit on this issue of how come you don't have to pay income tax. It's pretty simple why you don't have to pay income tax at all. Okay? The way the Constitution was written by the Founding Fathers, when the states created the federal government on behalf of the American people, of the 13 states, colonies previously, when they did that, they created a central government with limited specific powers, 18 specific powers, for common needs of the states, like common money, common defense, common foreign relations, and so forth and so on. 18 specific powers. And they gave the new agent government of the United States the power to do only those 18 things, and every other power they retained to themselves as countries. The states were and still are countries. Each state has its own legislator that makes laws for that state, its own governor to execute the laws, and their own Supreme Court. That's why, for example, every state has its own, driver's license test and license plates. Okay, because their own countries. Just like France, Germany, and Italy are countries within the European Union. We have a union in America called the United States of America Union. So the states created the federal government, and what they did is they put a strict limits on taxing powers of the federal government. Direct taxes that you cannot escape, like income taxes, had to be divided up or apportioned among the states in the Union. And that is still part of the Constitution of the United States of America. This was to make sure that you will not become a slave of the federal government. Now, with the 16th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, they pretended that the 16th Amendment changed the U.S. Constitution, got rid of the requirement that federal taxes must be divided or apportioned among the several states. But it did not do that. The Supreme Court clearly said that the 16th Amendment did not give Congress any new taxing powers. Since the federal government could not tax you, the American people, directly, direct taxes like income tax, before the 16th Amendment, they could not do it after the 16th Amendment either, and they didn't. That is why, when they wrote the very first income tax law, even back in 1913, they wrote an income tax law, but they defined the terms state and United States as only Washington, D.C. and its territories. All that you'll see in our brochure on our website, okay, on the front page on step 1, follow the law, okay? You can see it all for yourself. Everything I just told you in this 12-page brochure, it's clearly, easily is written there for you to see and for yourself, okay? Just take a look, read it. In 10 pages, you're done. really in 9 pages, really, besides the front cover, last 2 pages about, the 7 steps and step 2. In 9 pages, all is explained to you in short, succinct manner. So the bottom line is that they had to do it this way. So there's not an exemption. There's nothing to get out of. They could never tax the people in 50 states directly. So they got this pretension going, pretending to have the power, and have done it for over 100 years. Until now, Freedom Law School has been exposing it to you. So you can free yourself. Don't pay the Republicans or Republicrats, the Uniparty. No matter which way you vote, Republican or Democrats, they don't represent you, do they? So don't pay them. You never had to in the first place. All right, Mike, any other questions, my friend? All right. I think we took care of Mikey. We have, looks like, let's see, 2 more callers. We have one, we got 81 for area code caller, right? And the 952, you have 2 callers, right? 952 is me. We did that. So 81 for area code caller, right? Okay. We have right now another caller from area code 814. Please give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please. Are you there from area code 814? I think he left. Okay. We have another call from area code 843. All right, caller. Please give me your first name. I heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Yeah, hi, this is Don, and I've been aware of you for a couple of years now. I've called in before. My question is, I'm not paying federal taxes from my employer. I'm not doing returns, but the IRS sent my employer a scare letter, so they're automatically withholding now. And it's a large company, so big corporation. But I'm now getting a letter saying that I could be subject to backup withholding. So the IRS is encouraging me to file taxes. And they're saying, because I'm not filing and that I owe them, I'm going to be subject to backup withholding, which means that you probably know what that means, but what it's saying is that up to 24% of payments, dividends, interest will be withheld from my employer as well as my bank. So I want to get your thoughts on, is that another scare tactic? Can they enforce that?
I need to see the letter you're talking about, because I do not know exactly what it does or does not say by your representation. Please get that to us at Freedom Law School. Okay, I'll review it up to 10 pages at no charge. Just make sure you email or mail it to us or fax it to us. And make sure you call the FOB, let my people know it is for the next Freedom Hour, so I can see the letter completely and analyze it correctly, give you the correct answer, because what you say, there are some inconsistencies in what you're saying, so I'm not sure what you exactly got.
Okay, yeah. Definitely will do that. Really appreciate it.
Okay, my friend. Thanks for calling. All right. We got a call from area code 925 calling again. You think he has a question this time? We did have a 925 area code caller, or no? Well, he's calling in again. 925 area code. All right. Fine. Let's see if he has a question. 925 area code caller, are you there? If you are, speak up. Give me your first name. Tell me how you heard about us.
Yeah.
And then your question.
This is Jim. Can you hear me, Phelan?
Yes, Jim.
Good to talk to you again. I called in about a year ago, and I first heard about you, I think it was on the Stu Peters show the year before that. Phelan, my question regards your, it's two-pronged, related to the same legal issue. And by the way, let me start off by saying I already been listening to you now pretty regularly for several months, and made this year the first that I did not file based on what a lot of what you said. My concern is, I did that primarily because I agree with what you're saying, that the IRS is so screwed up. and I'm such a small fish, I'm not worried about them coming after me. Although, again, it's a possibility, I suppose. But that was the primary reason. I like the primary reason to be the legal grounds. And I wanted to ask you about, and I don't have the title in front of me, is it 26? Does that ring a bell? Where you defined state as including only District of Columbia? Am I in the right category?
State and United States and federal tax law include only the District of Columbia. That is correct. Is that your question?
Okay. So, no, my question is that given that, if you plug it into the section right above it, it says something like this applies to the states and the District of Columbia. And if state is defined as you're defining it, that would lead to the statement reading, this applies to the District of Columbia and the District of Columbia.
Correct.
My concern is that, my concern is being in the legal field, judges are generally very reluctant to interpret a law that leads to an absurdity, which that sentence clearly is. How do you address that? And has that come up in your fights with the IRS?
No, it hasn't come up with any fight with the IRS. But I'm going to show everybody what you're talking about. Here it is at uscode.house.gov, the website of the House of Representatives lawyers who publish the laws officially for the world. Title 26, Internal Revenue Code. Chapter 79, Definitions. It's a long chapter. And it says Section 7701, when used in this title, they're talking about Title 26, Internal Revenue Code. Go down to A, 9, and 10. You see United States and state only include the District of Columbia. Okay? It's not absurdity at all. It's just that's where the law was written on purpose by Congress. Even the 1913 law was written that way. I'm going to show the 1913 law in a minute for you guys. Let's see. Let's go to the 1913 law. I have it reprinted on the brochure. Well, it's a little bit hard to see on the brochure on list, but I'll try to show it to you. Let's go to our brochure, and I have the law on there. Okay, let me see. Here we go. So it's on this page. Can I make it any bigger, this thing, or not? I can't. We're going to make it a little bigger. Can you make it a little bit bigger so you know, let's make that page bigger. I want to make that on the bottom left. So then in the bottom left of this page, here we go. I can do that. Okay, I can do that. Okay. This page, this is 1913 law. This is a reprint of that. Okay, of that 1913 Underwood-Simmons Act. Okay, Chapter 18 plus H 38 Stat 114 162 1913 says that the word state or United States, when used in this section, shall be construed to include any territory, Alaska, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and Philippine Islands when such construction is necessary to carry out its provisions. So right there, back in 1913, state and United States were defined in one sentence together. One thing. They mean exactly the same thing back then and still do. And by the way, because Title 26, the federal, it's a little complex, but the old tax laws were not completely replaced. They're still good. This is still good. The intent was back then, still is today, that state and United States mean the same. So they wrote it this way originally very clearly, but now they separated them so it looks like they're separate, but really one thing. They've always been the exact same thing since 1913. Every time they define state of the United States, they define them as the same thing in separate sentences, though. Well, if it's the same thing, state of the United States, whether you say that in one sentence or two sentences, still the same result. Okay? So that is how the law was deliberately written they told the truth to you, and then they made it a little more complex, harder for you to see and assume. Okay? And one more thing. Back in the Supreme Court, okay, you got to understand how to do this thing one more time. Oh, the magnifying glass? Okay. So the Supreme Court has spoken about this stuff in many cases, okay? Stenberg versus Carhart, Okay? A year 2000 case, for example, says when a statute or law includes an explicit definition, we must follow that definition, even if it varies from that term's ordinary meaning. Ordinarily,
I get that, yeah.
State, United States. So, and then it also said that it is axiomatic, which means self-evident, obvious, that the statutory definition of the term excludes unstated meanings of that term. So Congress knew all this. When they wrote the tax law back in 1913, Congress knew that you cannot just assume things are included in the definition of anything, especially taxes. So that's why they wrote the law the way they did. That's why they have that language in there. Yeah, the language says what? The state of the United States are D.C. and territories. None of the 48 states were listed. But it listed any territory, Alaska, D.C., and Puerto Rico, and even the Philippine Islands, which is no longer part of the United States, were listed. But not California, not New York, okay? Because they knew what they were doing. That's what they said when such construction is necessary to carry out its provisions. They knew that exact construction, that interpretation, correct interpretation is necessary to carry out the provision of federal tax laws, because they knew the only correct constitutional construction understanding is that the income tax law applies only to D.C. and its territories back in 1913. Now they reduced that only to the District of Columbia.
My question was pertaining more, I found the section since we got into this, Title 26, U.S. Code Section 7701, definitions that you've reviewed. Okay, so I'm looking at the two subparagraphs, A9 and A10.
Yes.
And under A10, state, like you pointed out,
yes,
it says, shall be construed to include the District of Columbia.
Yes.
And then subsection 9, right above it, so we plug that in. That definition of state is District of Columbia.
Yes.
Subsection 9 above it will read, the term United States, when used in a geographical sense, includes only the District of Columbia and the District of Columbia.
Correct.
Okay, and that'd be my concern. So they wrote it that's kind of an absurdity to repeat themselves.
It's not absurd. They can write any way they want. We have no right whatsoever to judge or second guess what the lawmakers said. They said what they said.
Okay.
We take it as it is.
All right. Okay.
In fact, you think that's absurd? I'm going to show you another section on Social Security taxes. In fact, in the brochure on the Social Security FICA, this is going to even blow you even more so about it. Okay, on the brochure we have section 3121 under we have on there the FICA taxes. Okay, let me get the back of FICA. So here we have in chapter 21, Federal Insurance Contributions Act, FICA, that comes out of employees' paycheck, right? And it says section 3121E for the purposes of this chapter. What chapter? Chapter 21, Federal Insurance Contributions Act, FICA. The term state includes the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and the American Samoa. But the United States, the term United States, when used in a geographical sense, includes the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and the American Samoa. Isn't that absurd that the term state lists only these U.S. territories and the District of Columbia? But, and not only that's absurd because none of these are states. U.S. territories are not states. But they're calling Guam a state. They call American Samoa a state. Yeah. Well, they can do that. Doesn't matter how ridiculous you and I think it is. That's the way Congress chose to write the law. And on top of that, look at the United States.
You have to go with that.
Hold on. Yeah, you have to go with it. United States lists all its U.S. territories, not the 50 states, and it even excludes the District of Columbia, the headquarters of the federal government, is not listed there. How can the United States, the federal government, include not all these U.S. territories, but not the seat, the capital of the federal government, the District of Columbia? Because the Congress can do that. We're going to judge them and say, that's absurd. Congress, why did you not include D.C.? Because Congress says, because we can and we want to.
Yeah, so you're saying, according to Stenberg, absurdity is a subjective rule. We just have to, it is what it is. We have to go with what the law is.
We have no right and power to second-guess Congress. The lawmaker can write the law any way they want. If the lawmaker writes law that says a dog means cat, so next time you see a law about dogs, so the dog includes, the term law includes cats. Next time you read law in the law, you have to replace it with cats. Even though it says dog, they say dog is a cat. They can do that. Okay?
Right. Okay, I get you, yeah. All right, yeah. So following on that point, if this really takes off, if your efforts here take off, which I hope they do, because I hate the federal government at least as much as you do, if this takes off, what's to prevent Congress from coming in and just tinkering with this and fixing it in such a way that we're all screwed and we're back to states including all 50 states?
Because as I said
about that,
as I said, the reason they cannot do that because the Constitution requires that the taxes must be direct taxes must be apportioned or divided up amongst the 50 states. Okay, without that apportionment among the states, they cannot tax you directly, and the Congress actually did that. Okay, I'm going to put that on the screen. This law, hold on. Let me turn the volume down on the screen. Do that for me, please. I'm going to show on my screen the Constitution that provides for that. Let's see, where is that? This presentation. Let's turn the volume down on this. Okay. They actually did that in early. Here we go. Let's make this bigger now. Back in the late 1700s, early 1800s, they did exactly that. Here it is. The very first direct tax law Congress did in July, 14th, 1798. Okay? And it says right there, an act to lay and collect a direct tax within the United States, July 14th, 1798. A direct tax of $2 million laid. The law says that a direct tax of $2 million shall be and hereby is laid upon the United States and apportioned to the states respectively in the manner following. To the state of New Hampshire, $77,705.36 and 2 meals and a soul. That's the way it has to be done if they want to do income tax in the Union 50 states. They don't want to do that. They want to bypass all that. In fact, we should put this up also on our website. Yes, sir?
You say the statute as written isn't a screw-up. It's actually consistent with the Constitution.
Exactly. If they had to do it this way to have it be constitutional, the income tax is 100% constitutional where it applies. The income tax applies to the District of Columbia. Used to apply to D.C. and all its territories. They took out the territories. Now it's only D.C. FICA, the employment taxes your employer takes out of your paycheck, Social Security taxes, that applies only to 4 U.S. island territories of Guam, Virgin Island, Puerto Rico, and American Samoa. And even there, it applies to certain people doing certain specific activities in those 4 U.S. island territories. That's how, because that way it's completely constitutional.
Got it. Okay.
Very good. Good question, Jim. Yes, sir. Any other question?
No, that was it. Like I said, I don't know this area of law, even though I am an attorney, but that's why I wanted to hear your argument. I always look at the legal aspect of it, and what you say it makes sense. It's like you say, it's what we think about a second rate, what it is. If this is what the law is, then like Stenberg says, we got to go with it. That's it.
Yeah, you got it. Very good, Jim. Thank you for calling, my friend. I appreciate you. All right, any more questions we have on the calls on the screen? I don't see anybody on there. Any questions on the screen?
Thank you, Pamela. Bye-bye.
You're welcome, Jim. Thank you, my friend. Have a good evening, my friend.
Yeah.
Let's see anybody online with the questions. Okay, we have Edge Cope asks, I don't have any withholding for 25. So if I wanted to join for 25, would I use 2024 withholding to determine the amount I need to join? No, the 2025 numbers are on our website right now. The 2024 numbers are there. You have 0 withholding. So you're good, AGCOP 229. You know, you have 0 withholding. You did the right thing. You stopped your employer from stealing your money, give it to the IRS. So you no longer have to file a 1040 confession form begging the IRS, please give me some of that money back that my IRS, my slave master employer stole from me, gave it to you. I want a little bit of that money back. No need. You did the right thing. Stop the stealing at the employer level. Now you don't file and you are free, brother. Good, I'm glad to hear that for you, okay? Any other questions on there? Okay, we have Ace Cal X2R. Where can we find official books? Let's see, where is that? Books or documents of what you are stating in this. You know, I'm glad you asked. We have it on our website. Is it active on our website where I show them those laws? We have those, all the statutes, all the legal citations. We do it. Okay. Glad you asked. I got a surprise for you. You will love this. Okay, let's go to our website, freedomlawschool.org. And all the legal citations, everything I give you guys that you've seen, if you go under educational tab, okay, and there we have, where'd it go? We have statutory reference hub. The second thing on there is statutory reference hub. You click on that, and here it is, all the legal stuff that I talk about, the tax law code sections from the Internal Revenue Code, they're all listed here. Okay, for example, Section 7701, let's see, where's 01? I think this is, where's A9 and 10? We got order, these are a little messed up, we got to fix that order. Let's go here. A9, okay, and A9 and 10 could be actually done together probably. Anyhow, here it is. If you click on the view the official source of the law, it comes up, it goes to the website. Well, something wrong with this click. I don't know why it's coming out wrong. Okay. Now I'm going to click on the highlighted version of it. Not coming up. We got a little technical issues on these couple links for some reason. So sorry these two didn't work. Let me see if another one works. Let's see if I can get you a better one that actually does work, because we got little glitches here still. Let's go section. Let's look at Supreme. Let's see. Let's go Supreme Court. Let's say section. I gotta reorder these also. 3121E, what I just shared online with Jim. Okay, here's the source of the law. 3121. It's not coming up. Okay. Oh, here it is. Came up. 3121. Yes, it came up. Now we're going to have another page to have the relevant language highlighted in there. We're going to add that on there. We're going to work on that still. We'll do that. But yeah, I'm putting this stuff together, guys, little by little on our website. We got a little glitches still, but it's statutory hub. All that stuff is on this page. Okay, so yes, go there. If you see anything that's not working, call us. Let us know. So we still gotta proofread this page. It's a lot. All these legal stuff. It's the Revenue Code laws, the Supreme Court cases, the old laws, they go back to 1913. All these things are on there. Okay? All right. Any other questions we got online, guys, or anybody calling in? There's no call number. Can you put that on the screen? Anybody calling in? The number to call if you have a question is 424-552-1299, and then press 1 on your telephone keypad. I'll take your question now. Call 424-552-1299. 1299 and press 1. Can't see a number on the screen. Anybody calling in, guys? Okay. We have online question says the curly top 67. So currently there is no way around property tax scam. Well, unfortunately, no. Property tax has always been the way that from founding fathers era to the wild west 1800s, how the local people, landowners, paid for a sheriff, maybe a few sheriff deputies, maybe a part-time or full-time prosecutor and judge, a little jail, to protect the farmers and ranchers from thieves and bandits. Now, property tax back then was so low as it's supposed to be. No one cared. No, not a problem, because they didn't want to be robbed by the wild bandits, as you see in many Western movies. Some of you, like me, like Westerns. I grew up in that age. In the 60s, 70s, then Westerns were common. Wild Wild West and Clint Eastwood, John Wayne. You know, you see those in those movies. So nobody minded it. But over the 100 years plus we had in 20th century, in America, we stopped adopting socialism, communism through local government. Okay? For example, the public school system, the government schools, people homeschooled their kids back in times of George Washington, founding fathers, and 1800s into it. It was really in like 1840s and 50s that schools started in any way, shape, or form and became this government-controlled entity that it has become now. Okay? Otherwise, parents, they taught the children. It's their job to teach your children. I remind my kids sometimes, you know, hey, you know, the teacher school's fine. I'm going to teach you some things myself. They don't teach you what you need to know, and they teach you a bunch of lies as well, even though they go to a private school, not a public school. Okay? So, anyhow, that's what made the property taxes so high today. That's now oppressive and hurtful. People don't want to pay it. But Florida is going to now, they got some ballots coming up and on the laws. That'll be good. They're going to exempt maybe your primary residence largely or completely from property tax. Okay? That'd be great if that happens. Hope it passes. It's a constitutional amendment. If Florida does that, we hope that many other states will follow suit on that thing, and the taxes should be paid by maybe sales taxes, okay, by foreigners, visitors who come to Florida, who own land. If you live here, if you're homestead, you don't pay income tax. That's a proposal on the ballot. Will be coming up, I understand, in Florida in next election. Hopefully, it will pass by a constitutional amendment. Okay. We have a caller right now from Colorado, area code 303. You're live, my friend, with Freedom Law School. Give me your first name, how you heard about Freedom Law School, and then your question, please.
Hi, Payman. My name is Kara, and I'm from Colorado. I think I heard about you. Maybe I was just surfing Rumble. I think that's how I might have found you. My question is probably very specific to Colorado. We have a thing called the Tabor Amendment in our Constitution, and it basically has to do with when the proceeds from the taxpayers exceed the budget, and this isn't just like income tax. This is like from everything that they take in, that they are supposed to receive a refund. And the only way one can receive a refund is if one files. And, of course, Colorado is tied to the IRC. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering, and if this is one that, needs to be just taken offline, that's fine. Just let me know. I can give you guys a call another time. But I was just curious what your thoughts are about something like that.
Well, are you telling me Colorado had a surplus this year, and they are intending to give some money back to people?
We have a surplus almost every year.
Okay.
Yeah, almost every year we have a surplus. But what is happening is our wonderful state legislature is trying their darndest to take away our refunds every single year. They keep trying to come up with ideas that, basically take our refunds, because it's a mostly Democrat run legislature. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, it's a communist legislature. I understand that. Yeah, well, that's how it goes.
Yep.
I'm sorry. That's the beauty of the American system of government. We do not live in one country. We live in 50 countries plus one. Germany, France, Italy are different countries in the European Union. And Colorado, Texas, Florida, California are countries within this union. So you can always have the option of leaving that country, becoming to another friendly country within the union. Why do you think people are leaving California and New York and Illinois in record numbers, right? These oppressive communist states, and come to freedom-oriented states like Florida, Texas, and Tennessee with no state income tax. Because, duh, you want to live free? Go where people value freedom, okay? So you can do that. That's the option you have. And I would suggest you highly consider leaving Colorado, the mountain country that used to be a free state. But the urban communist Denver slums, okay, have now dominated that state politics through communism, sadly. And so you can vote with your feet. Leave Colorado as well. Maybe you go Wyoming next door if you like cold weather. Wyoming is a very free state, relatively speaking. It's just colder than Colorado. More windy, right?
Yeah, that'd be a tough sell to my husband, unfortunately.
What does he do for a living? What does your husband do?
Well, he's retired, and I am a computer consultant. And
Are you kidding
work
me?
for my brother down in Colorado Springs.
You have an easy go. He's retired, gets his check no matter what. He could live in China or Thailand or Panama and get that same paycheck. And you are a consultant. You do things online by telephone and email, internet anyways. Why are you staying anywhere of you folks? We are retired. Okay, you're going to fix income no matter where you live on earth. Any of you has a business out of your home, on the internet or something. Why are you still working out of California, New York, Illinois, Colorado, or any other communist state? All you got to do is take your reluctant spouse or children or relatives for a free visit. You pay for the airline tickets and hotel to Florida, Tennessee, some of these freedom-oriented states to see, look how much nicer it is. Your money goes a lot farther. Look at the beautiful home we can buy in a clean neighborhood. No graffiti, no homeless, no crime, no traffic congestion, and we can enjoy our life in peace and prosperity while we are staying with this slum state. Right? Let them see it for themselves. That's all you got to do. All right, Kara? So leave now, next month. Bring your husband for a vacation to Florida, okay? And let him see. And he's going to think, oh, man, it's nice to get out of the cold. I like to warm up those bones. Okay?
Well, thank you, Taymon.
You're welcome, Kara. Thank you. All right. Looks like we have no more callers. Guys, you guys come back. My team left. You guys come back, gentlemen, okay? You have any more questions online or anything? You want to get them? Nope. Okay. We have actually 843 we could call, it looks like, don't we? Right? No, 843 we took care of. 303 Kara just went. I'm going to give you the number one more time. Last call, not for alcohol, but for questions. 424-552-1299 and press 1. 424-552-1299 and press 1. And I'll get your questions next, if you have one. Or any questions online. No question online either? Our brothers and sisters. Okay, let's see. It's all good. Everybody's happy. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Looks like we're good. Okay. All right. Our brothers and sisters, listen. I would love to America to be free, for you to be free, to have choices in your life, having your money belongs to you, okay? But remember this, as much as I know about this, I've done it for over 30 years. Haven't filed up income tax. They've been to tax prison because there's no law requiring me or you to file and pay federal income taxes. At the end, you got to make the choice to be free. You have to educate yourself. You have to give yourself the confidence by understanding the law and your rights. Get in our brochures, pass them out to your friends. Restore freedom, okay? And read it yourself. Share it with your family members, friends, co-workers. Fast track your success, okay? Calls, we mail them to you at no charge. And as you drive around, go to freedomlawschool.org and play our videos. Watch the road. Listen on the road. Lunch at work. Dinner at home. Watch the video again this time. And see, I can be free. I don't have to be a slave. Oh, man. It's a lot easier than I thought. I was afraid for nothing. And you start living a free life. So with that, I give you my love, and I'll be back with you next year in 2026.